Welcome to Wellness, your ultimate guide to unlocking your full human potential through biohacking. I'm your host, Ashley Daly. I'm a former personal trainer, Pilates instructor, certified sports nutrition coach, and I have a degree in kinesiology. I am so thrilled to have you here today because it is my 100th episode. We made it. I'm so excited. I can't believe it's already episode 100. And the reason today's episode is so special is because I'm going to do a revamped version of episode number 1, which is an overview of my nighttime routine. And since the launch of this podcast, quite a bit has changed in the last 2 years. So that's what we're going to go over today. If you don't know me or you haven't heard of me before, I'm so excited to have you here. The reason I started my podcast is because some of my favorite podcasters and people in the health and wellness space started to literally sell out. They were promoting products that didn't align with biohacking and wellness in general. For instance, you could turn over a supplement that someone was promoting, and if you know how to read the ingredients, you would read that it wasn't good for you. There's actually this one supplement, and I won't get into it, but it has wood pulp in it. And I don't understand why someone would put wood pulp in a supplement along with fillers and other chemicals that you don't need. So anyway, I created my podcast to help give you a source of truth. And even if I can just help one person avoid some mistakes in the health and wellness industry, teach them how to read beauty product labels, food labels, supplement labels, that's really what I want to do, and help uncover and give you some hidden health information that is seemingly hard to find. So I'm really excited that you're here with me today. And this year is such an exciting year because I turned 40. I'm so excited for it. And I'm also trying to manifest and hope and wish and pray that my husband comes back to New York City where we live. He's currently in London. We're doing long distance with some visa issues. So if you can pray and wish and send your good manifestations our way, that would be wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and jump into episode 100 today. And how I'm going to start is giving you an overview of my nighttime routine, because I believe a great day or a great morning starts the night before. This is going to be a 2-part series. Episode 100 is my nighttime routine. Episode 101 will be my morning routine. In today's episode, you're going to learn why conventional toothpaste and conventional floss could be contributing to a poor night's sleep, why turning off your Wi-Fi at night can profoundly and positively impact your sleep, and you'll learn beauty secrets for glowing skin and lengthening and strengthening your hair and nails while you sleep. You'll also learn why duct tape is my secret weapon for a good night's sleep. I don't eat past sunset, or at least 2 hours before bed. Part of the reason is I really want my body to be able to rest and digest, which can be a little tough in the winter because sunset can be 4:45, 5:15 sometimes. But that's how I've been able to stick to a pretty strict regimen when it comes to my bedtime routine, is avoiding eating food late at night and also having one of my biggest meals during the day to give my body plenty of time to digest. One of my newer habits that I've incorporated in the last few years, one that's easy for you to incorporate because it's free, is watching the sunset. I have a few episodes which I can link to in the show notes, but one of my favorites was with Dr. Sam Berne, a holistic optometrist, where he talks about the importance of letting the orange and red colors from the sunset and the sunrise, which I'll get into in my next episode, are so crucial to help your body wind down and let your body absorb those colors without sunglasses, and hopefully you're not wearing sunscreen by the time the sun sets. If you're driving and you're coming home from work or taking your kids somewhere around sunset, try to roll the windows down even an inch so you get that sunset in your eyes. This can help set your circadian rhythm so your body knows what time it is, because even though we live in 2025, we still have ancient software, and our bodies are used to rising with the sun and going to bed with the sunset. Not only does watching the sunset promote relaxation, but it reduces stress and enhances mental well-being. Absorbing the sun's infrared rays are not only a soothing way to support physical and emotional health, but they have a true positive impact on your mood and mental health. The most critical signaling pathway for longevity and health is maintaining intracellular redox homeostasis. That's a really long way of saying redox potential. And if you listen to Jack Cruz, you probably know all about redox potential, but it's like your battery. It's how you charge your cells, which are programmed by sunlight. You spend all day inside, you're under fluorescent lights, you never watch the sunrise, you never watch the sunset. Your body's going to have a difficult time falling asleep. If you or someone you know have unwanted symptoms or some health issues that have suddenly come about, I would start by recommending incorporating more sunlight. And there's a lot more that goes into unwanted symptoms, but one of the first things you can do as a free option to help turn your health around is to get morning sunlight and evening sunlight into your eyes. And then, of course, spend some time outdoors during the day. Doesn't matter what the season is, you got to get outside. When you align with natural light cycles, you enhance your sleep quality, energy, and overall well being. I could talk about sunlight probably for the rest of this episode. There are a few other episodes that I'll link to below. One was also with Carrie Bennett. She has some extraordinary insights and science behind why sunlight is so crucial. One of the habits that I've changed since the first recording of this episode is, instead of putting blue blockers on after sunset, I usually wear blue blockers when I'm in front of a computer. I just haven't yet because I was waiting to show you guys, but I've done a lot of episodes where I'm talking to someone with my blue blockers on. And the reason for this is because it helps block the toxic blue light from coming into my eyes. Not all blue light is toxic, and we also have to get outside for this reason. But when you wear blue blockers that have been third-party tested to block blue light, that's when you can start improving the health of not only your eyesight, but making sure that your sleep routine and your circadian rhythm are in sync. These are my Viva rays, which I absolutely love. They're third-party tested. One of my favorite things about them, which I haven't come across in any other company, is they make magnetic overlays. When the sun sets, I'll put on orange and wear these for maybe 30 minutes to about 45 minutes. And then after that, I'll change to the deep red. These help get your body suited for bedtime because they block all the blue light. They're my favorite to wear when I'm traveling. And one of the things that I've bought on Amazon, they look kind of funny, but they're these little side protectors that are plastic. And so they go on the side to block blue light as well, because sometimes your neighbor, when you're in the airplane, has their iPad, computer, or phone really bright, and it can disrupt your circadian rhythm, which jet lag is a whole nother thing to get into. But these are the blue blockers that I wear, and I wear them no matter what. Every single day before I get ready for bed, I always have a pair of blue blockers. Let me preface a few things that have changed in the last 2 years. So I still take progesterone, but I was unknowingly taking progesterone at the wrong time of my cycle. Playing around with hormones, if you don't know what you're doing, can be a bit deleterious, in my opinion. You have to work with someone who knows what they're doing. And the clinician that I was working with certainly didn't know what she was doing. So I told her that I wasn't sleeping well. This was about 2 years ago. And she recommended progesterone. And I was so excited. I looked into it and I was like, this really looks like it could help me sleep. And it did. It was wonderful, but I was taking it every day. As a cycling female, that's not the recommended way to take it. If you take progesterone, you want to take it after you ovulate. If you're using an app to track your cycle, like Natural Cycles, you'll know when you ovulate or you're taking LH tests. We'll get into it on the next episode, but I definitely don't recommend birth control. I'm trying to get every female off of it, but you really want to be careful with progesterone. If you are not sleeping well, waking up between 1 and 3 in the morning, and you're a female, this is most likely due to hormonal changes. If you haven't heard the word perimenopause before, welcome to my show. We talk a lot about hormones. Progesterone is something that I take to help me sleep. I bring it on every trip if I know that I'm going to be in that sweet spot between days 14 and 28 or 30. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned how you can have a restorative effect and strengthen and lengthen your hair and nails while you sleep. You can do that by taking a product called Primeadine. Primeadine is one of my absolute favorite companies on the planet. I'll link to it in the show notes, but I had Leslie Kenny, the founder, on my show, and we talked all about Primeadine and what it does. It helps grow your nails, it helps your eyelashes grow, helps your hair, helps with collagen production. It helps mimic a fasting effect. And Primeadine helps me sleep so well. I take it every single night. I haven't missed taking Primeadine since I had Leslie on my show. I used to take it in the morning until I learned from her that you should take it at night. It's suitable for both men and women, and it's one of the game changers that I've included in my nighttime routine. I will say, with a caveat, that this is where it's important to read ingredients and find out what is in a product before you take it. There was someone who wanted to be on my show, and I interviewed them because they had a similar product. And the product that Leslie makes at Primeadine is a food grade product. It's not synthetic. When I asked her about it in my show, it was her longest answer of why it's important to choose a food grade supplement over synthetic. And this other person who I interviewed came on my show and told me why synthetic was best and said that he had done, I think it was a 7 or 10 day randomized trial. They picked out some events that they saw that were positive, and then they created their product. And this person just really didn't have the integrity or passion behind the research that Leslie has. And I could really feel just from having a conversation that this person was trying to make a quick buck. They had learned what spermidine does. They created a product for it. In my opinion, it was subpar. It wasn't a good conversation. In fact, I didn't publish the episode because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the product that this person is selling, that they are promoting, and that they used synthetic. While I do believe in the good in people, I don't believe in the product that this person is selling. And that's why I have to stay true to myself, my listeners, my audience, because I want to give you guys the truth behind supplements and products that I personally use and vet. And that's why I couldn't have this person on my show. If you're shopping for Primeadine on Amazon or anywhere else and it says synthetic or lab made, I would skip it. I really want to drive home the fact that I've done a lot of research on the guests that I bring on to my show, and I do it with integrity because I saw my favorite people literally sell out. If you want better sleep, promote autophagy, which is cell turnover, have healthy hair, skin, and nails, have your hair grow faster, your eyelashes grow faster, I would recommend Primeadine. I take it every night. I take it with me when I travel. It's one of my top, I think I have 6 or 7 supplements that I absolutely no doubt travel with. So that's one of my top ones. And that's something that I've changed in the last couple years. Okay, one of my non-negotiables before bed is that I turn off the breaker that my Wi-Fi is connected to. Unplugging it works just as well, but the reason I turn off the breaker is it's just easier for me, and it's also hooked up to my TV. So my TV and Wi-Fi are off every night. One of the reasons for that is because you're not surfing the web at night. If you have your Wi-Fi plugged in, you are attracting EMFs. If you have children in your home, that can cause a sleep disruption as well. I know it can be difficult if you have a security system to turn off the Wi-Fi at home. I'm not sure what the workaround for this is, if there's something you can hardwire or have a Faraday cage in another room far away. But if you can, turn off your Wi-Fi at night, unplug your TV, and if you can, don't have anything plugged in by the head of your bed. So I know people have lamps on either side of their bed and maybe an alarm clock or a phone charger. Oh, heaven forbid, a phone charger. The reason I'm talking about EMFs is because EMFs can fill the air with invisible radiation, which can negatively affect your energy, cause brain fog, and sleep disruption. Even though I'm talking about my nighttime routine, if you have small children who are taking naps during the middle of the day and they're not sleeping very well, one of the hacks that I've heard, and I had August Brice on my show from Tech Wellness. I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to listen to it. It's one of my most popular episodes. But she talks about unplugging your Wi-Fi when your child naps to have a better, healthier child who's not being disrupted by those EMFs. So if there is a Wi-Fi router underneath your child's bedroom, next to your child's crib or bed, I would strongly suggest moving it. You want to be at least 10 feet away from your Wi-Fi router at all times. Or even better, if you can do it, you want to hardwire your internet. That will solve a lot of problems so you don't have the Wi-Fi roaming through your house. When I had August on the show, we were talking about how EMFs are a class 1 carcinogen. A 2008 study funded by the National Institute of Health showed that non-native EMFs are a class 1 carcinogen, just like X-rays. So even though I'm talking about my nighttime routine, this is a great example of why you should never keep your phone on your body. I know everybody puts their phone in their back pocket, or they'll have one of those leashes and keep it on their side. You don't want it touching your body at all. Those devices are emitting harmful EMFs. And if you want to sleep better and have more energy, I strongly recommend you spend time away from your devices. Since we're talking about devices, please, please, please don't sleep with your phone next to your bed. Don't sleep with your phone underneath your pillow or even within an arm's reach. You want to truly unplug and turn off at night. And if you have your phone near you, it can not only disrupt your sleep, but it can cause negative thought patterns. I know some people are on call. I know some people don't have the option to turn their phone on airplane mode. But if you do have the option, keep your phone in another room and either turn it on airplane mode or turn it off. At the very least, don't put your phone on your nightstand. Put it at least on the floor and at least an arm's reach away from you. I know some people like to fall asleep to meditations or recordings of music and podcasts. If you're going to do that, and just like listening to this podcast, even if it's during the middle of the day, please, please, please download what you want to listen to before you listen to it, because your phone is going to be using cellular data and EMFs, which put you at a greater risk. So if you can, at any time, download the podcast, the music, the meditations that you want to listen to so you're not using cellular data. One of the quick tips or hacks that I use on my phone is I'll go into settings, I'll go into cellular, and then I'll toggle the button to off because I don't need cellular data when I'm at home or having a phone call. I potentially do if I'm out and I want to research something, but it helps limit the carcinogen exposure if you can turn off cellular data. Okay, enough about electronics. Hopefully, I have guided you into a state where you know you don't want to use them before bed. And also, if you're going to be watching TV or working on the computer past sunset, use your blue blockers. Okay, so now, in the process of winding down, one of the things that I'll do to get ready for bed is wash my face. You guys know that I'm a non toxic beauty blogger and a stickler for clean products. So, if you want to find out what I wash my face with, there are three different companies that I will rotate washing my face. And shout out to my friend Alyssa for sharing this with me. But instead of using the same face wash and serum and moisturizer every single night, she'll switch it up every 3 days. So her face doesn't get used to those same products. I do the same thing. On the first night, I'll wash my face and moisturize with something different than I will on the second and third night. And then I'll go back to what I used on the first night. You can go to my website, ashleydeely.com. And the first thing that will pop up is a short menu of my favorites, which includes my clean beauty guide. One of my favorite face washes is by Honeybee Hippie. It literally smells so good. It leaves my face moisturized. It smells so good that I want to eat it. It's the best face wash that I've ever used. I do rotate through a few others, and there's one that's just a powder that you put your fingers on, and then you mix it with water, and it's like kind of little scrubbing. It's kind of like microbeads, but microbeads aren't good for you or the world. And that one's by May Lindstrom Skincare. So, and then there's another one that I use by Cosima Skincare. So I rotate those three. They're my absolute favorite. One of the differences that I've switched up in the last few years is I used to use a face wash and then put water on my face and then use a serum and cotton rounds to take off my makeup. But what I found with a good face wash is you use water, you put it on, and then I'll take a washcloth and I'll run it under warm water, and then I'll wipe off my makeup for the day in an upwards motion. And I find that I don't need to use a serum or a spray with those little cotton pads afterwards. When it comes to moisturizing my face after I've cleaned it, then I'll use different moisturizers in the forms of serums and lotions and different oils. I switch it up so often. It usually will be more than those first three that I mentioned just because I have so many. So I think it's dependent on how I feel, what I want my face to smell like. It's probably my favorite time is getting ready for bed because of the beautiful things that I get to put on my face. Part of my beauty routine in conjunction with taking Primeadine is I'll actually comb my hair every night at least 100 times. Sometimes if I'm feeling extra adventurous, I'll comb my hair 200 times. I don't wear my blue blockers when I do it because they get caught in the comb, but it helps stimulate hair growth. I've had a few hair experts and beauty experts on my show that say one of the reasons your hair doesn't grow is because your scalp doesn't have the stimulation that it needs. And I know if you have thinning hair or hair that's falling out, it's the last thing you want to do. But I can confirm with my hairstylist, shout out to my friend Crystal, that you need the stimulation on your scalp. You need to comb your hair, brush your hair. When you shampoo, you should be shampooing your hair for 2 to 3 minutes. Your arms and shoulders should hurt. Maybe that's why I look so toned because I wash my hair for so long. But I'm just saying, if you want healthier hair and a healthier scalp, you got to bring the scalp stimulation into your daily routine. Okay, so my face is washed. My face has been moisturized. I've combed my hair 100 times. One of the things I'll do is I'll take a scrunchie, like a soft silk scrunchie, and I'll twist my hair into a low bun and twist it kind of tight, and then I'll put the scrunchie around it. And the reason I sleep like this is because when you pull your hair back into a ponytail and then put the elastic around your hair, it can cause breakage in your hair because your hair is consistently used to that position being tightened with the elastic. So that's why I'll make a bun and then put a scrunchie around it. And I feel like my hair has never been longer or healthier. And also probably because my hairstylist uses, I think it's 98% organic hair coloring and hair products. That's one of the ways that I help take care of my scalp as well. Okay, so we're done with the face. Then I'll move on to flossing and brushing my teeth. I do not use commercial floss that you can buy at a big box store from a big name brand. And I don't brush my teeth with big name brand toothpaste either. In fact, I refuse to use big name brand floss and toothpaste because Teflon can break the blood-brain barrier. You might be asking, why is Ashley talking about Teflon and cleaning your teeth? Well, because, dear listener, did you know that most conventional floss is covered in Teflon? That's what makes it so silky smooth and easy to glide in between your teeth. And I never want to put unnecessary chemicals in my body for any reason. And Teflon has been shown to cause cancer, which is another story for another day. And I'll talk about my pots and pans maybe in the next episode. You don't want to use Teflon, especially in your mouth. That's just so gross. So my floss is made from bamboo, which is eco-friendly and compostable and not coated in a heavy metal. If you can, stop using that regular commercial brand floss and let's upgrade you to something better. The reason I don't use commercial toothpaste either is because if you've ever read the side of a commercial toothpaste box, you'll see it says harmful if swallowed. What? It goes in your mouth. How? I don't understand what chemicals they're putting in toothpaste that are harmful if swallowed. But here's the controversial part. A lot of commercial toothpastes use fluoride, and fluoride can disrupt your thyroid production, and it contains arsenic. It also has the ability to break the blood-brain barrier, which can cause the calcification of the pineal gland. This is detrimental because the pineal gland is responsible for making melatonin, and melatonin can help you sleep. So if you're not sleeping well and you're using toothpaste that has fluoride with it, or you're drinking tap water that has fluoride in it, this can contribute to poor sleep, thyroid dysfunction, and a slew of other unwanted symptoms. So this is one of those low-hanging fruit options, whereas if you can upgrade your toothpaste and your water, maybe you can start sleeping better. And one of the things that you can do as well for your oral health are these happy gum drops from Living Libations. And they have one of those titrated plastic bits, so you just get one drop at a time. And sometimes I'll put that on top of the eggshell powder that I use to brush my teeth. And one of my other hacks that I use when I floss my teeth is I'll actually take these happy gum drops. I'll put one drop on a finger and then I'll slide it down the length of my floss and I'll use that. I know there's controversy about using essential oils in your mouth, but I haven't had a problem with it or found any negative effects. So I'm gonna keep using it because the ingredients are so beautiful. So listen to what's in this. So it's sea buckthorn, rose otto, peppermint, oregano, clove, cinnamon, and tea tree. Ooh, sorry to my little sister. She can't have tea tree. But these make my mouth feel so good. I take them with me. And sometimes if I need a mouth freshener because I don't chew gum or mints, sometimes I'll just put one drop on my tongue. Okay, so now my face is washed, hydrated, I've combed my hair, I've flossed and brushed my teeth. One of the other things that I do that has changed in the last 2 years is I use the most luxurious body serum you will ever use in your life. I can't tell you how much I love this product by Luxe Beauty. It has changed my life. Well, I don't know if it's that dramatic, but literally oh, it smells so good. Okay, so let me read you the ingredients and then I'm going to tell you where I use it, okay? So this has organic jojoba oil, organic rosehip oil, organic castor oil, organic sea buckthorn oil, organic Luxe Beauty herbal lymphatic support blend, organic Luxe Beauty essential oil lymphatic support blend, and organic astaxanthin. This is an oil that smells heavenly. It's the most beautiful thing that I've ever put on my body. It is very expensive. It only comes in, I think this is that's 4 ounces. But how I use this, and this is for the ladies out there, is I use 1 pump and I'll put it on my breasts at night. And this is part of my self-care, self-love routine. and it smells so good. It feels so nice. I tell my breasts that I love them because I plan on having healthy breasts my entire life, healthy everything my entire life. But I know that 1 out of 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. And I feel that when you tell your breasts that you love them and give them attention, they feel it and receive it. If you sleep in a bra, please stop. Your body needs to have that lymphatic movement, and there shouldn't be anything pressing on you. The same goes for pajamas. If you have elastic in your pajama bottoms, you want to find something that's really loose that won't make or leave marks in your body while you sleep. One of my favorite things that I'll do is use a microcurrent stimulation. I'll just go get it. Okay, I brought back a lot of things, so get ready. So this is my microcurrent stimulation device. If you're watching this video or listening, you can probably hear it. It has a vibrating effect, and I will roll it up my face about 15 times on each side, up my chin, near my lips. So there's also a device. I'll get it just so you can see it. This is from Entera, and this has a battery as well. So you turn it on. This vibrates as well, if you can hear it or see it. And you use it where you wouldn't use the roller, right? There's no skin on your forehead to roll the same way there is on the cheek. So you use the T-bar in between your eyebrows and up through your forehead. And I've had guests on the show who talk about eye health and how they use microstimulation around their orbital bones. So sometimes I'll go around my eyebrows, I'll go underneath my eyes using the T-bar. And then when I use the regular roller, just like I showed you guys on my face, you can also do it up on your neck. And the microcurrent stimulation is supposed to promote collagen and keep your skin taut. So I don't know if it works. I like the way that it feels, so I use it. There's links for all of this. It's in my clean beauty guide. Another thing that I do at night is I'm trying to promote the growth of my eyebrows naturally. And so there's a product by C360 Health. It's a combo product. And what I do is I use a couple drops of the purple serum, and you're supposed to make tiny micro scratches. So I will, going outwards with my fingernails, create tiny little micro scratches in my eyebrows. I'll touch my eyebrows, I'll roll them out and put those 2 drops on each eyebrow. And then I'll wipe off my fingers and then put 1 drop of this serum on each eyebrow and massage it in. If you've never done this before, disclaimer, it will burn because you're rubbing, I don't know what's in those oils, into your eyebrows to help promote hair growth stimulation. So just how we were talking about scalp stimulation to help your hair grow, you can do the same thing for your eyebrows to help them grow. And or if you have a spot on your head that is wanting to be bald, we will never call it a bald spot because then your body will hear it and believe it. So it's wanting to grow. So if you have a spot on your head that is wanting to grow more hair, you can use this product the same way. So you would stimulate wherever that area is, create tiny little micro tears, and then put the oil on. Okay. One thing that I do every night without fail, no matter what, is I put my feet in front of my red light device. Now, this is small and I bought it for that purpose because it has a nice little travel case that's just connected to it, which makes it really easy to travel. But P.S., if you bring it on your carry-on, they will ask you to take it out or search your bag because it kind of looks like a tablet or some smart device. So just take it out when you travel. This is by VieLight, and I've done a lot of research and had the founder on my show, and it stays on for 10 minutes. And I'll do 2 lots of 10 minutes, typically while I read. I'm reading by my Skyview lamp, which I have disabled from Wi-Fi, but I have the red setting on at nighttime. So I think that covers most of my products. Oh, and then one of the other handy dandy things that I use before bed is duct tape. And you're probably going, why is she using duct tape? It's because when you breathe through your nose, you're breathing filtered air. Or I suppose another way of saying that is if you breathe through your mouth, you're not breathing filtered air. And when you breathe filtered air, it makes your kidneys not have to work so hard. If you're frequently getting up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, you could try using handy dandy duct tape. I mean, it does look weird. I take a piece that's, I would maybe say it's about the size of 2 stamps. And I use it every night. And I feel like all those movies that use it when the bad guys kidnap someone and they put duct tape around their mouth, it doesn't work. Because if I've woken up so many times with the duct tape no longer on, because if the duct tape gets wet, it just comes off. So you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. So this is about the size of the duct tape that I use. I put it right on my lips like this. Ta-da! And this is how I sleep. It really doesn't hurt. It feels fine. Sometimes it'll come off, but if it stays on, I'm breathing filtered air. There was a book called Breath by James Nestor, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to all the biomarkers that improve when you sleep with your mouth closed. I'm sure there's brands that make special mouth tape, but duct tape is like, I don't know, $5 or $6, and you just buy a thing of it and it'll last forever. One of the other things that I do, I forgot to mention, I should have probably mentioned this way back when I get ready for my bedtime, is I use the ApolloNeuro. I wear this throughout the day. And if you guys know me, you know that I don't like wearing any wearables to bed, but I do use the ApolloNeuro before bed. It has a few different settings. It syncs up to your phone. You have to turn on Bluetooth, but then you can turn it off once you've set it. And the reason I use the ApolloNeuro is because it's been backed in 16 different clinical studies with over 1,700 participants. The ApolloNeuro has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety by up to 40%, increase deep sleep by up to 19%. The ApolloNeuro helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system by helping you feel relaxed and chilled out by giving you soothing vibrations. That's all it does. It's literally just a small device. You can wear it on the back of your wrist, on the front of your wrist. You can wear it on your ankle, but it's just these soothing vibrations that you don't really notice. But this is something that I use when I travel to help me sleep and to help me feel restored upon waking wherever I am. So this is something that I use. You can put it on the 60-minute setting. That's what I do before bed. And because I don't track my sleep, which I know I'm probably a bad biohacker, I don't know how much more deep sleep I get, but I do feel like I sleep better when I use my Apollo. If you wear any wearables to bed, please make sure they're on airplane mode or that Bluetooth is not activated and Wi-Fi is not activated. One of the things that I really wanted 2 years ago that was on my wish list, and I spoke about it in episode 1, was I wanted the Chili Pad, or I think it's now called Sleep.me. It was this mattress pad that you put over your mattress. It was filled with water. It would cool you down or warm you up based on your temperature to help keep you asleep. And I wanted it so badly until I realized it uses Bluetooth, and I don't want Bluetooth covering my body while I sleep. I know that temperature regulation is one of the most important factors when it comes to sleep. That means that you can wake up because you're either too cold or overheated. And if you're overheated and over 30, it might be perimenopause and some like oncoming hot flashes, which is another thing we can get into. But there has to be a better way, or if there's a company listening, surely there's a better way to manage temperature control without using Bluetooth. So one of the things that I do is I always keep my room at a cool 68 degrees, no matter what. I use blankets and everything organic. Temperature control is one of the most important components when it comes to sleep. So if you can manage the temperature in your room to keep you cool or keep you warm, that can be a game changer for quality sleep. Another key component to take into consideration is not sleeping on a mattress that has been soaked in formaldehyde or that uses coil springs. So in my bed, there is no metal anywhere. That goes for the headboard, the bed frame, the mattress. There's no metal anywhere. Why? Because metal attracts EMFs, and I don't want EMFs around my body while I sleep. If you can upgrade your mattress. That's one of the first things, no coils in it. But then go a step further and don't just buy any mattress, buy an organic mattress. Most mattresses are soaked in formaldehyde and other chemicals like fire retardants to make sure that they're not going to go up in flames. But I'm willing to take that risk and not breathe in those harmful chemicals. So the bed that I use is the Botanical Bliss by Plush Beds. I'll put it in the show notes. It's been one of my favorite purchases, and I was so excited for it because it just came in a box. I was able to unroll it, and do you know what it smelled like? Nothing, which was amazing. So my mattress is organic. My sheets are organic. My blanket is organic. My pillows are organic. What else is on a bed? The duvet cover that my comforter is in is organic. Because you spend so many hours asleep, you don't want to be breathing in those chemicals. The reason I bring this up is because you know that anything organic is better for you. And I didn't really think about this until I started buying new things for our apartment about 2 years ago. I was thinking about buying sheets and I was like, oh, I'll buy organic sheets. And so I bought organic sheets on Amazon. But the reason I bring this up is because I had the founder of Aizome on my podcast, and he talked about the importance of not just organic sheets, but the color of the organic sheets, because most colors, most dyes are not organic. They use harsh chemicals, which can be carcinogens, and they can also cause eczema and a slew of other negative symptoms. So I was so excited when I bought my sheets 2 years ago on Amazon. I bought these lovely gold organic sheets. And while they were organic cotton, the gold dye that they used was not organic. So if you really want to take your health to the next level, it's important to buy all things organic, which I know can seem tough because you think you're doing something good and then you're like, oh, now there's more to it. So I know that this episode has a lot of information and it feels like maybe you're biting off more than you can chew. So if that's the case, just start with small steps. If you have purchased organic sheets, maybe next time when you're ready to buy sheets, make them the brand Aizome, where you know that the dyes and how they have colored their sheets and clothing uses plants. I have everything listed on my website if you want to take a gander and look at what I use. But nighttime is for repair and resting and detoxing. It can be hard to do that if your sheets and your headboard and your mattress and everything around you is full of chemicals. So once I'm in bed, this is what I'll preface with how I used to do it and how I do it now. So when my husband and I lived together and we would fall asleep together, I would always ask him, what are your top 3 highlights? But now, since we're doing long distance, but please pray, hope, and wish and manifest that he'll be back before we know it, I ask him when he goes to sleep, what are your top 3 highlights? One of the things that I like about that ritual is it preps my mind and his mind to be on the positive side, to go to bed thinking good thoughts rather than anything that might be worrisome or fearful. And then when I go to bed by myself and I finally put my head on the pillow, I recount what my top 3 highlights are. If you are struggling, maybe you have 1 or 2, you can break it down into 3 categories. What was your physical highlight? What was your spiritual highlight? And what was your mental highlight? So physical, you went for a walk, you worked out. Spiritual, maybe you did some breath work, meditation, prayer. And then mental, were you able to read or do some painting or something creative for the day or some cooking? I feel like when I struggle, or maybe I feel like I had a tough day, I'm reminded that I have 2 legs, 2 arms, a voice, perfect eyesight, and a husband that loves me. I have so many things. So when it comes to those top 3, I'm reminded some people don't have those things. And it's a really good reminder to think positively before bed. And I think maybe the other last couple things that I didn't mention before bed is I wear silicone earplugs. This is just a personal choice. I know some people don't like earplugs, could never wear them. They are so good for my sleep. And then I also have blackout shades because I like my room as dark as it can be. Whew. So I think that wraps it up, which is miraculous because I feel like I do so many things. I don't know how I got it all into one episode, but that is my nighttime routine. For any of the products that I mentioned today, you can find them on my website. It's ashleydeely.com. And that's how you can help promote my show. So if you click on anything, it's most likely an affiliate link, which will go directly to me and help support the show, which I am so thankful for. And I'm so thankful you're here for episode 100. The next series in this 2-part series will be my daytime routine, and I can't wait to dive into it. If you found anything helpful, insightful, it would be amazing if you gave me a shout out on Instagram. I love seeing those. Or if you shared this podcast with a friend and say, hey, I think maybe our kids could sleep better if we turn the Wi-Fi off during the middle of the day, or anything that may have tickled your fancy. I love learning what you found helpful. So I will end the podcast there for now. As always, none of this is medical advice. It's for informational and educational purposes only. I'll see you next Friday for episode 101. This podcast is a labor of love, and I'm dedicated to providing free content for years to come. If an episode has brought you joy, clarity, or valuable insights, your support means so much to me. A quick shout out on Instagram or sharing this podcast with a friend can make a big difference. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, a great way to help support the show, or even on YouTube, is by leaving a review. You can also help support my work by using any of the affiliate links that I leave in my detailed show notes, or visit my website, ashleydeely.com. I'm most active on Instagram if you're looking for me, so you can find me at Ashley_Deely. Thank you for helping me keep this podcast alive. This podcast is presented for educational and exploratory purposes only. Published content is not intended to be used for diagnosing or treating any illnesses, disease, or disorders. Those responsible for this show disclaim any responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of this information presented by myself or my guests. Please consult with your healthcare provider before using any products or services referenced in this podcast. This podcast may contain paid endorsements for products or services. Any third-party materials or content of any third-party site referenced on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions or standards of the policy of my guests. This podcast and my website, ashleydeely.com, represent the opinions of myself. The content discussed on the show should not and does not replace medical advice. The content here is for informational purposes only. Episodes on Welcome to Wellness may at times cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to depression, suicide, COVID-19, vaccines, events related to the pandemic, 5G, Big Pharma, nootropics, circumcision, psychedelics, hormones, the Women's Health Initiative, the use of plant medicine, abortion, geoengineering, terrorism, gender, AI, and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You are advised to refrain from listening to this podcast if you are likely to be offended or adversely impacted by any of these topics. However, if these topics interest you, you just may have found your tribe. The information or opinions expressed on the Welcome to Wellness show are solely the views of the individuals involved and by no means represent absolute facts, opinions, or expressed by the host, and guests can change at any time. The views of my guests are solely their views, and the Welcome to Wellness show does not accept responsibility for them, and any action you take on the information contained within this show is strictly at your own risk. The Welcome to Wellness host, Ashley Deely, will not be liable for any losses or damages in connections with the use of this podcast. You should take all necessary steps to ascertain the information you receive from this podcast is correct and has been verified. None of the guests or the contributors on the Welcome to Wellness podcast will be responsible for your use of the information contained therewithin. Under no circumstances will the Welcome to Wellness show or my affiliate partners, suppliers, licenses, or guests appearing on the show be liable for any direct or indirect consequential damages arising from your inability to access this podcast. All intellectual property rights belong to me, Ashley Deely, and are included but not limited to the copyright and any other rights in the design. You are permitted to the Welcome to Wellness podcast for personal use, but not for commercial use without license. You may not make recordings of or otherwise copy this podcast. If you breach these terms, you lose the right to access the Welcome to Wellness podcast, and you must destroy or return any copies of the recordings you've made. Guests on the Welcome to Wellness podcast may at times provide information on or read extracts from third-party copyrighted work. The Welcome to Wellness podcast does not provide any medical or professional advice within these episodes. If you take any action or inaction as a result from the content you consume from within the Welcome to Wellness podcast, this is based solely on your decision, and the Welcome to Wellness podcast and Ashley Deely and my guests cannot be held responsible or liable for any of the consequences on such action or inaction. Thank you.